I am not home. No, I'm not. My name is Steve Guttenberg. I'm at World of Macintosh in New York City. I'm here to listen to these brand new Sonus Faber Olympica Nova 5 speakers. There are towers, but there's smaller ones, there's bigger ones, but these are the ones that I've heard, and they're $16,500 a pair. But my goal today is to tell you about what these things sound like. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm back home and I'm thinking about what I just heard at World of Macintosh. So the Olympica Nova 5 is, first of all, I want to talk about the sound, but first I got to talk about how beautiful it is. Pictures cannot fully represent the elegance of this design. Now, in high-end audio, this is one of the things that bugs me about expensive high-end audio, is that it doesn't look the part, you know? I mean, face it, wealthy people buy expensive stuff, and it's going to be in their homes, and it shouldn't just look like a thing or a box or something, okay, even if it has pretty wood. There should be more thought that goes into the way it looks. It just does. I hope I haven't lost you here, but it is a great sounding speaker, but I just want to talk about the way it looks. It comes in walnut or African Wende wood, and those curved sides, it's bent wood. The detail, you run your fingers over it, it's just stunning. It's just beautiful. I mean, Sonus Fabers always have been. I think this is sort of taking it to the next level of detail, of finish, and just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay, so it's a three-way design. It has a 1-inch silk dome tweeter. It has a 6-inch pulp mid-range driver that's designed by Sonus Faber. The tweeter, they don't say anything about it, so it probably isn't. And the three 7-inch woofers are a sandwich construction with pulp and rigid foam and pulp on the other side of the sandwich. And they have die-cast baskets. It's really first class. The speaker is 46 inches tall. It weighs 97 pounds. It's a 4-ohm speaker. I think we got it all in terms of that kind of stuff. As for the sound, it sounds like what you think it would sound like. That's probably the easiest way to sum up what's going on with this speaker. So, let's see, my listening sessions commenced with this Charlie Hunter, Bobby Previtt duet. Charlie plays guitar, but it's a special guitar. It's an 8-string guitar that plays bass and guitar at the same time. And he's always played that instrument as long as I've been following him, which is a very long time now. And this record, when I first got it a ways back, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I kind of didn't like it because Bobby Previtt's drums seemed like they're mostly samples. But you know, over the years I've come to really enjoy this record because it's all about the groove. There's just like this funk, this pulse that runs through it that's just stunning. And the Nova 5s were coming up to bat and hitting it out of the park. I mean, they were just rolling along with this record. And I'm not one that plays music loud, not normally, but I just had the feeling, looking at those big Audio Research amps, yeah, let me push it a bit. So I kept pushing it louder and louder and louder, and it just got better and better and better. It was a fun way to start my getting acquainted with the Nova 5. Then I went for something completely different. This guy, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name or even the name of the album, but this was made by my friend Todd Garfinkel, who owns MA Recording. It was done in Japan in a concert hall, and it is the best sounding solo piano recording I have ever heard. And I say that because A, it's uncompressed, and B, it sounds tonally right, and you hear the sound of the room. But the piano is just so dynamically alive. Mihao, however you pronounce his name, he hits it hard, but he's got great touch. He plays with great dynamics, meaning it's not always loud. There's soft parts, there's delicate parts, and you just feel the nuances of the piano the touch, of how loud he's playing, or how he's hitting the keys. That's what I'm shooting for. And that kind of nuance and inner detail was definitely alive here and kicking over the Nova 5s. This next one is also a Todd Garfinkel recording, Michel Godard, and the album is called The Serpent, and that is the name of this instrument. So it is a leather-covered horn. It sounds primitive. It sounds organic. It sounds like it's coming from the earth. It growls at you. And there's other musicians playing on this record, but it's the Serpent that's the star. And I felt more connected to the recording than I usually do. Next up is another audiophile recording, Cambora Music in Native Tongues. Not a Todd Garfinkel record. This one is done by Cavi Alexander. His label is called Water Lily Acoustics. All Water Lily acoustic recordings are phenomenal. And here's why. Because they don't sound like recordings. You just have this sense of hearing through. Hearing through the recording, hearing through the system, and just hearing people playing. It's just so at ease. That's what I'm looking for. I think the Nova 5 did that. Maybe I wanted a little more harmonic juiciness in the voice, because the first track on this recording is Martin Simpson, and he's singing Waltzing for Dreamers, which I think is a Richard Thompson song. And I wanted his voice to be a little more body and soul, more chest, more of that. And I think the Novas were a little lacking in that regard, but you never know, because it's the room, everything is up for grabs always. But if I had any knock against that speaker, I would say I wanted a little more. It was certainly great, but I wanted it to be a little more of that would have been nice. Last up, not an audiophile recording. Kid Koala 12-bit blues. As you might guess from the title, it's not analog. It's a sampled recording. It's a blues record that Kid Koala sliced and diced and did all sorts of things to, but it somehow still connects with me. I don't usually like that kind of thing, things that are obviously and overtly processed like this, but again, it was the feeling of it that came through, because it does feel like a blues record even though it's highly processed. And it's got low, deep bass that churns. There's a lot going on down there. And actually at that point we moved the speakers around the room to sort of fine-tune the bass a bit and got more of that low-down grunt that I wanted that's in this recording. And yes, the Novas, when coaxed and coddled and tweaked, yes, they can deliver that kind of earth-moving feeling. So I had a great time at World of Macintosh checking out these speakers. I don't really consider this a review. It's just sort of an impression of what I heard. I like that room. I like my room better here in Brooklyn. I'm thinking about this other Sonus, the Electa Amateur 3. I go way back with that specific model to the Electa Amateur 1, and I sold boatloads of them because it was a great speaker. It was a revelation at the time. I guess this is mid-90s when I was selling them, and it had it was very Italian, very warm, rich, a little too rich really, but just invitingly rich sound. And this new one I'm sure is more neutral, and I want to get that one here at home in Brooklyn. So we'll see if that happens later this year or early in 2020. But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show, coming to you 6 or 7 days a week. If you dig it, please subscribe. Hit that little subscription thing. I think it's that way. And like this thing with thumbs up. Give it, share it, tweet it, retweet it, fold, spindle, mutilate, whatever turns you on. You can follow me on Twitter at AudiophiliacMan. And you can, if you really want to help me out, check out the Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/. youtube.com/audiophiliac. Thanks for watching. Way better.